morning, good evening, wherever you are. So, welcome back to Edessa, Season 2. And this particular scene, Al Qadir has finally been able to make a meeting time for one of his new kin that has arrived to the city. He has asked the graciousness of his elder of the city to invite him in their tower so they can speak on not only of their personal interests but the interests on the city in the city. Alkadir sends him a location of a particular tall building within the Jewish quarter and waits.
Yeah. Considering this is Khadijah has not been in she has not been in Edessa in probably a long while. Um, however, um, she has this invitation to come to the Sorcerer Tower, and she arrives basically um, almost if she is dressed for war. Um, though it's not like typical heavy armor, and the such, but more free flowing clothing and like a leatherish armor, um, very thick cloth, stuff like that. Her face is covered. Um, she has a sword that kind of the handle kind of sticks out from under her cloak. Um, but when she arrives, I'm assuming there's nobody else here.
Uh, Nobody outside the door.
Okay. I'm assuming, I guess she knocks.
Yeah, once he hears a knock, once the knock is heard, Alkadir will open the door and will nod his head in appreciation and gesture her into the building.
Sure. She comes in and she has aspects up, so she already knows who he is because, well, at least she knows he is a sorcerer because sorcerer auras are bright, and because thanks Hakeem uh for making that a thing. So she recognizes him instantly as one of hers. Um, so as she comes in, she kind of unwraps like her face, at least unhides it, and you can basically see her full visage from behind the head wrap, and she has this very thick uh, Arabic accent. Um, she actually probably addresses him in Arabic, and she just says, peace unto you, brother."
Likewise, dear sister, I'm glad you could arrive.
Me too. It is an unfortunate state of events that brought me here. My sire and our home, the eldest, has asked me to come and look into things personally. Considering that many of the warriors here have perished,
Yes,
and the situation that has put our clan in such dire straits here, to understand that at least the warrior ranks are replenishing here
in-
slowly, if anything.
including you. My brother, and I believe, if I remember her name right, is Kira. Um, page. Yes, but including you and two others, there should be three, and there was four.
I see. And she finally says, Khadija Asamat. Obviously, I am a comrade, but I am Ansela. My sire is Tahir, the sheriff of Telgorm.
I see. I'm glad that he recognizes the importance of Edessa. You must be a valuable asset.
Hmm. I simply do what I must, considering that with everything going on here, it seems that things need to be put back in order, so to speak.
Unfortunately, there's many things in the city out of order.
Which is why I'm glad I've come to you. You've seemed to be here for quite a bit of time, from what I understand. So, if you could, I would like you to give me a clearer picture of what we're dealing with here.
Well, recently we are recovering from a recent attack by a salubri radical group. We have I've heard that the leader, Tabris, has been captured, and the adventurer is in further pursuit.
Hmm.
I said their attacks were devastating, but obviously we survived. Next would be the demon that is residing in the city. Salubri, a name of Famoshi, is the spearhead of that particular operation, and I promised that we would assist him in any way we could.
That makes sense. It was, after all, that the Salubri and the Assamites once worked together to take down the Bali. Perhaps we will do so again here. What is the state of our relationship with the Salubri here?
The Salubri are absolutely infantile in the city now. Famoshi has apparently reestablished the clan as a member of the city. Our relationship at this point is neutral to minorly positive.
Hmm.
If you want to wish about our allies, we have the Gangrel and the Zamisi.
And what is the nature of the relationship with them? Why are they our friends currently?
There was a hunt led by Ravnos and complemented by Tremere. I was able to find out their particular operation, and with the help of the Gangrel and promise of judgment upon the parties, we have become steadfast in our, let's say, in our equal hatred of Tremere and soon to be Ravnos.
Hmm.
Their relationship is more of likes of true allies, maybe even friends. The Zamisi only wish to learn our secrets and hate the Tremere.
Are we to paint the Ravnos with such a broad brush, or is it just the one?
It is technically just the one, but I am not going to allow another clan to damage us without any type of retribution. So I would say at this point, maybe they're not truly our enemies, but they are considered to be potentially hostile.
Have any of the others openly acted against us, or is
Not
it
yet.
just the one?
Right now, it's just the one, but many
Well
things have
then,
happened in the city. I only wish to be cautious.
Then I would not be so quick to judge the whole if there's just the one that seems to be bringing offense. Do you understand my meaning?
I do.
We are not in the, from what I understand, we are not in the state to consider a clan war with the Ravnos if it's just the one. Do you have proof that he is doing such things?
Yes, he's already lost his status as a scourge here.
Excellent. And has he been judged to be killed or judged to be reclaimed?
As far as I can tell, I believe he may be exiled, which is unfortunate. I don't find it enough of a proper punishment, but I would have to speak upon the council to know for sure.
And I hear that there is a battle for praxis within the streets. Is there not? What is the state of the princedom here?
As far as I have been told, it's in a bit of a shift. We've had a recent change in Keeper of Elysium from the Serpents to, I believe, a Cappadocian name. As he thinks upon it, the name escapes me at this moment. As far as the princedom goes, I haven't had the time to truly focus on it.
Hmm. It is not a problem. I will look into this myself, considering it might be easier for me to move around than you. Though I'll not take any kind of, I will not judge your ability after all, but there might be some things I might be able to come into regarding that. I understand that it is Chimera is the prince here, or at least the original prince before her challenge.
He nods. Eventually, yes.
What do you know of this woman?
She seems unusually casual compared to her brethren, and rather relaxed, which may have been a detriment in her role.
And who is the one that is challenging her?
And he shakes his head. I wish I knew. I haven't taken the time, like I said.
Mhm. There does seem to be an overabundance of Canaanites within the streets.
Cabras flooded the city with a mass embrace for cannon fodder.
Interesting, interesting. Then perhaps then we might have to help the city reclaim the balance. I might have to get with the other warriors and talk about maybe removing some, whether by force or otherwise.
I've been told we are to treat them with respect and give them a chance for redemption. They weren't aware of what they've been forced to do.
And how long has it been?
A few months. Famoshi has gathered quite a few, and I hear a few others have gathered a few of the newborns.
Hmm.
I would honestly prefer their destruction. We don't need the blood to be thinned out with this many people. It's unfortunate, but I believe that's the right move.
Hmm. Then I would ask a favor of you. Perhaps let those that you trust know that they will need to be claimed and then moved on quickly before maybe we enact any kind of force to reclaim the balance.
He nods to that.
It is time to get the city back under control.
Indeed. There's also a few other possible things we can focus on, but one thing at a time.
I would like to hear them now, if you don't mind.
the La Sombra. No, might be the Primogen? Nah, I keep forgetting about it. But a particular La Sombra has. I have been heard that she's been abusing the younger Canaanites of late to a point that it has brought notice. We may need to talk to her at a later date.
Who is the Canite, the Sombra that you were mentioning? You speak of?
Okay, what does my chat say? Oh, Argyle. Out of character, I'm forgetting her name.
Is it a PC or
It's,
NPC?
it's an NPC.
Okay.
Oh, and apparently she was a Seneschal, not the Cappadocian, I think. But
The Sombra NPCA. No problem.
the Sombra Seneschal said she's not a she's not a big concern of us right now, but I only hope things don't get worse. I assume there's many things that we haven't taken notice of that we need to keep track on, or need to take notice of. Yeah,
Now that our position is. Now that the clan is recovering, we will have to do much to make sure we improve our position here. And keeping a eye out and being diligent will have to be the name of the game going forward.
indeed.
Which, since I am new here, I will do what I can to um, find a domain for myself while I'm here. After speaking to whoever I need to speak to, whether it's Chimera or this other prince, so to speak, I guess. And um, I will set up my servants and retainers to um, make home here as well. What are your particular set of skills? Am I able to come to you for magical and smithing assistance?
So I will be available for all your magical and supernatural needs. Smithing, well, there's a common Cainite that you will speak to. He provides to all that can afford him.
What is his name?
Memnon of Clan La Sombra.
And what is your approximate opinion of him?
He is a man of business, and if you speak in business, he will honor. He will honor it.
Hmm. She just nods. Fair enough then. You've been a great help, Alkadir. Is there anything you wish to ask of me?
I Only ask for you to be careful and survive. We don't need another culling.
I'll do my best. And she simply smiles at him. And she's a beautiful woman. I mean, she's not ugly by any sense of the means. She's like App 3, so like, she's cuter than average or whatever. So um, but it seems to break like her usual like rather kind of cold demeanor um or whatever. Funny thing is, I don't know if you have um aspects up or not. Um, uh, but I guess that would depend if you had it up. But either way, she will simply go about wrapping her face back up, considering that pretty much her business is done here. Um, and she kind of has an idea for what to expect around in the city. And she just says, "Who is who is the uh, who is the eldest here?"
Our eldest, and more than it's like it'd be our primogen. Said, said
Yes,
Abdi, I think Abdu. Ah,
Abdul.
yeah, Abdul.
Okay.
That's what I didn't know. I didn't know.
Hmm. Then I will let. Then he should know that I'm here. At least I'm assuming. Um, the eldest back at home would have informed him of my arrival. Do be careful, Alkadir, and just remember I am always watching.
You nod to that. Oh, he says, before you leave, do you have not a sword, but any extra blades that you might be carrying on you?
Sh- she kind of like opens her cloak and stuff, and you just kind of see like a sword and like some knives, kind of like cleverly, tucked in. If you look a little closer, like you might even see what looks like stakes that run up like along her back.
He grabs one of the knives, then grabs one of the stakes. And me just remember how much this costs real quick.
I'm sorry, daggers, not knives. She doesn't carry knives; they're daggers.
Nope. 125. On button. Or you have this stuff bookmark. Okay. Okay, yeah. He'll take um he'll take one of the blades and he lets it dig into his left palm, and he drags his hand across and he speaks a word. And 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Yeah, and once the hand goes across it, the blade ignites into a pale blue flame, tinted with green, and blade facing down. The flames are real and hot, but they don't cause the Rashek.
Hmm.
Keep it sheathed. If not, the flames will ignite himself again. And then he will do the same um, to the stake, to one of the stakes.
It's a burning stake.
Yes, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And the stake goes alight in the same blue green tinted flame.
Yeah. Uh, whoa. Um, the I guess the when the room lights, her eyes kind of light up with the projection of the flames, and she just gives this very humble small bow of appreciation, and uh, reaches out for the blade. The way she grabs it, it's almost like if it's been an extension of her. It's almost as if it's part of her soul. The way it just she kind of holds it in her hands, and kind of maneuvers it between her fingers, letting it uh, checking out like the heat and stuff like that, and before she kind of like easily just puts it back in its sheath, back in its place, and she just asks, "Well, what about the steak?"
You'll have to wrap it.
Interesting. And she, I guess, just from like the bottom of her cloak, like she doesn't really care. It's kind of kind of tattered and ratty anyway. She just um, rips a small piece off and just wraps it up, and puts it back in its place behind her back where she had it. And she just places a hand on Alkadir's shoulder. You could tell she's pretty strong. Um, she does have. She's not like trying to squeeze his arm to the point where it's painful or whatever. But you can tell if somebody was on the receiving end of that, that it would not be a good time. Um, but she just says, "Thank you, comrade. I will keep you in mind for when I need more assistance in the same manner. You have been more than accommodating and more than a good host uh, for me here. And I look forward to working with you in the future."
He nods. I am here to serve the clan, and come back in nigh a month's time. I will have a different spell for all your stakes.
She just gives a strong nod, and yeah, she she will just release him, so to speak, kind of take a few steps back, and turn when she finally gets to the door. And basically, once she's there, she will just disappear.
Alcadir nods a bit in a very content way, as he hasn't really made enchantments for his clan itself in a long time. And he enjoys the fact that he knows that his skills will be put into good use. And with that, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Have a good morning, evening, or night.